organic, unpredictable, unknown, lovely, beautiful, a sense of fulfillment. This is part of the pleasures of life and not the chores of life.
Here's what's just ahead tonight on Daily Iowan TV. Ernst versus Braley. We'll give you a last-minute look at both candidates before Election Day. Next.
And the Senate race won't be the only close call. All you need to know about other elections coming up.
And in sports,
Iowa men's basketball gets their first win in an exhibition game.
All that and more coming up next.
You're watching Daily Iowan TV.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Tanner Sigworth.
And I'm Mary Caldwell.
We are less than 24 hours away from Election Day in the state of Iowa. The race for Iowa's U.S. Senate seat has been full of action, so we wanted to give you one last look at each candidate before you cast your vote tomorrow. Here's my recap of Joni Ernst's campaign for Senate. Iowa's first female Republican candidate for U.S. Senate. Joni Ernst's background of farm life and military service has connected her with Iowans and won her support from some of the nation's most distinguished Republican figures. In her run for Tom Harkin's seat, Ernst has highlighted her Iowa roots, as well as her 21-year career in the Iowa Army National Guard, even serving overseas in Kuwait in 2003 and 2004. An Iowa State Senator since 2011, Ernst holds a strong position on cutting federal spending, including eliminating the Department of Education and a repeal of the Affordable Care Act. With her military background, Ernst advocates strongly for veterans and wants Congress to focus more on the developing issues with ISIS. And her support of Second Amendment rights has earned her an endorsement from the National Rifle Association. Ernst has made stops in Iowa City and Coralville throughout this campaign, along with U.S. Senators John McCain and Rand Paul. According to a recent poll by the Des Moines Register, Ernst currently leads Congressman Bruce Braley by 7 points, her largest lead since the start of the election, in a race that looks to be neck and neck going into tomorrow's voting.
Great work, Tanner. Now, something that's getting a lot of attention today is Joni Ernst's response to comments from retiring U.S. Senator Tom Harkin.
Right, Mary. We've got some footage here of just what Tom Harkin said. Take a look.
I heard someone say, well, Joni Ernst, she's really attractive. And she sounds nice. Well, I got to thinking about that. I don't care if she's as good looking as Taylor Swift. Or as nice as Mr. Rogers.
Ernst responded on Fox News saying she was very offended by Harkin's comments and thinks it partially has to do with the fact that she is a woman.
She said, quote, "I believe if my name had been John Ernst attached to my resume, Senator Harkin would not have said those things."
Now for a look at the Democratic candidate for U.S. Senate, Bruce Braley. Daily Iowan TV's Hannah Thompson has all you need to know.
coming from a town in central Iowa, Senate candidate Bruce Braley has been in the Midwest his whole life. Braley started off as a lawyer for 23 years, then decided it was his time to try his hand at politics. After serving Iowa's 1st congressional district for the past 8 years, Braley began campaigning for the 2014 election and the open Senate seat against Joni Ernst. His platforms have been focused on strengthening the economy through local jobs, marriage equality, and making college tuition and debt affordable for students. If Braley were to win the Senate seat, he would be taking over for Senator Tom Harkin, as Harkin announced his retirement earlier this year. During his time campaigning in Iowa City, Braley supporters have stressed the importance of getting out to vote. Political heavyweights like Hillary Clinton and Michelle Obama have been just a few who have stumped for Braley during the campaign season. This Senate race has been one of the most heated and expensive races in Iowa history as the Democrats and Republicans fight for control of the Senate. Hannah Thompson, Daily Iowan TV.
Thanks for that, Hannah. We've got more election coverage coming your way when we come back.
Don't go away.
Iowa SJMC.
Want a major that'll take you somewhere?
I joined, and now I make videos for the university. I joined, and now I work for the most trusted news source in America. SJC.
Welcome back to Daily Iowan TV. Let's take a look at your Election Day forecast. Luckily, the cold November weather isn't quite here yet. Tomorrow morning will be around 47 with mostly cloudy skies, and as the day goes on, things will warm up to 53. In the evening, we'll see things cool down to about 44 degrees. So if you're planning to stay late at the library, bring a jacket. On Wednesday, we'll see warm temps again, almost hitting 60, but a drastic drop will come in the evening with temps in mid-30s. Thursday and Friday look similar with upper 40s, cool evenings in the low 30s, and partly cloudy skies. On Saturday, there's a small chance of rain in the morning with temps in the low 40s. Sunday looks about the same, partly cloudy skies and 40 degrees. So a fairly warm election day, but we're looking at a cloudy November weekend. Tanner and Mary, back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Katie. Now we're back with more coverage for tomorrow's election.
Daily Iowan TV's Selena Carr gives us a look at what issues Johnson County voters can expect to see on their ballot come Election Day.
If you're voting on Election Day, here's what races you should know. First, the Iowa governor race.
The truth is, I'm running for governor to help Iowa's middle class. Of Iowans.
Iowa Governor and Republican Terry Branstad is running for re-election for his 6th term against Democrat State Senator Jack Hatch. A poll released today by Quinnipiac University shows the race is tightening. Branstad leads Hatch 52% to 41% in the polls. Candidates' campaigns hope to gain support on issues such as education reform. Branstad proposed a $10,000 tuition flat rate for popular majors at the Regent universities, while Hatch campaigns to lower interest rates on student loans. In the 2nd congressional district race, Democratic Representative Dave Loebsack is campaigning for his 5th term in Congress and running for the 3rd time against Republican candidate Marionette Miller Meeks. Both candidates applaud recent reform in veterans' health care, but differ on federal health care. Voters can also expect to see the Johnson County Courthouse back on the ballot for the 3rd time. The county wants to add a $33.4 million annex to the courthouse, which would add more courtrooms.
Somebody like myself who's been up to the courthouse for not only as part of cases, but to work with our county attorney. I mean, the courthouse is in bad shape. We need a change, or we need space.
Besides the courthouse condition, the county hopes to inform voters and opposing groups that the annex won't be a new jail or justice center.
I think one of the big misconceptions is that somehow it's another jail, and it isn't. This time, the decision was made after the 2nd bond issue for the Justice Center failed to just focus on the courthouse because of the kind of the clear security needs here and clear space needs.
The courthouse needs a 60% majority vote to pass. In the last special election in May for a Justice Center, the yes vote only amounted to 54%. There will be many bubbles to fill on the ballot. Now it's time for voters to get out and vote. Selena Carr, Daily Iowan TV.
Brittany Maynard, the 29-year-old right-to-die advocate, ended her life on Saturday. Maynard was suffering from stage 4 malignant brain cancer. When Maynard found out she had the tumor, she and her family moved to Oregon, where it is legal for doctors to prescribe a drug that allows patients to end their own life. This act gives patients with a terminal illness the choice of when they would like to pass. Maynard chose to end her life before her illness got really bad. However, she was beginning to have more and more seizures last week, so she decided to go through with her plan to take the drugs. Oregon, Washington, Montana, Vermont, and New Mexico are the only states that currently have this act in place.
Yes, that is sad news coming out of Oregon.
To fill us in on all things black and gold in sports, we'll now toss it over to Whitney Blakemore and Zach Mackey in the sports studio. Guys?
Thanks, guys. Lots of action over the weekend in sports as soccer and field hockey both getting ready to wrap up their regular seasons.
Men's golf also wrapping up their fall play, but we start tonight with one sport that is just picking up.
The Iowa men's basketball team was in action inside Carver Hawkeye Arena on Sunday. Daily Iowan TV's Jalen Sochek was at the game and has the recap. Jalen?
The Iowa basketball team was able to kick off their 2014-15 season with an exhibition game against the Northwood Seahawks on Sunday. The Seahawks proving to give Iowa a little bit of difficulty early on, but ultimately it's the Hawks getting the W in this one. They also were able to allow some of their newcomers to get their feet wet. The starting five featured two newcomers of Anthony Clemens and Jared Utoff. Clemens breaking into the starting rotation came down to one thing, his consistency.
Clemens has been the most consistent guy from the opening day of practice till now, and he earned that position.
This is what I work for. I mean, I earned everything I got.
Clemens would only account for 3 points in the 92-51 win, but it was in his defense that he excelled, grabbing 4 steals.
I mean, I think that's what separates me from everybody else on our team. You know, I can really get after on defense.
Going into intermission, Iowa only led the Seahawks by 7 points. Utah and Peter Jock opening the second period, going on an 18-2 run. 9 of Utah's 15 points and 11 of Jock's 16 came after halftime.
Our offense ran much more smoothly in the second half. It did not run smoothly in the first half. We were swinging the ball when guys were coming free on the block, over-dribbling, taking shots that were just okay.
It was then time for some of Iowa's more youthful players to take control of the game. 57 points coming off the bench, sophomore Trey Dickerson and freshman Dom Ewell flourished in their Hawkeye debuts. Dickerson finishing with 8 points, 2 steals, and 2 assists, and Ewell grabbing 8 rebounds.
You look at Dom and say 8 rebounds. I mean, you know, you got to love that about a freshman.
Overall, the game was a chance for the team to test the waters with 13 games left before conference play. Jalen Sochek, Daily Iowan TV Sports.
Iowa will be back in action at Carver in 2 weeks on November 14th against Hampton.
And filling us in on how a few other Iowa teams performed over the weekend, we'll now hand things off to our Whip Around crew. Take it away, guys.
Thanks, guys. This is Laura Belanda here at Carver Hawkeye Arena, where the Iowa women's volleyball team will take on Indiana this Wednesday, November 5th. The team now holds a record of 11-12 with their defeat over Rutgers this past Saturday in New Jersey. Coach Bon Szymanski said it was a great road trip for the team and should create some momentum for their match this Wednesday. Now I'll toss it over to Austin Luce with Everything Field Hockey.
Thanks, Laura. I'm out here at Grant Field, where the women's field hockey team just found out they will be the 6th seed in the Big Ten tournament that starts this Thursday. The Hawks will take on 3rd-seeded Northwestern at 4:30 p.m. on Thursday. The two teams previously met once this year here in Iowa City, where the Northwestern Wildcats came out on top 3-1. The winner of the Big Ten tournament will receive an automatic bid to the NCAA tournament. Now, to catch you up on everything soccer, I'll toss it over to Taylor Brooks.
Thanks, Austin. I'm here at the Iowa Soccer Complex, where the Iowa women's soccer team has proved their worth this season, ending their season with a 12 wins, 6 losses, and 1 tie record. Even though the ending of their season was a little bit of a downer, losing to Nebraska this past Friday 2-1, they still secure the number 5 spot in the Big Ten tournament, where they play Rutgers this Wednesday at 9:30 a.m. in West Lafayette. Last season, the team ended up in the Big Ten tournament championship, setting the stakes high for this season. Well, that'll do it here for our Monday Night Whip Around. Whitney, Zach, back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks for that, guys.
The Iowa men's golf team wrapped up its fall play at the Royal Oaks Intercollegiate Tournament in Dallas this past Tuesday with a 6th place overall finish that included 4 Hawkeyes placing inside the top 25.
Just the perfect way to go out. As a team, we played unbelievable the last day, and I think we didn't really have, you know, in my views, the greatest fall season because we didn't win a tournament. Going into the spring, I think we want to win a couple.
The Hawkeyes will begin their spring season in February at the Black and Gold Challenge in Florida.
And before we go, the Big Ten Conference reprimanding Maryland football head coach Randy Edsall and the wide receiver Stephon Diggs for a sportsmanship violation before the Penn State game on Saturday.
Edsall failed to control his players, who initiated a confrontation with Penn State players, earning the Terps a hefty $10,000 fine.
Diggs also getting a 1-game suspension comes after striking an official during the confrontation.
That will do it for us here in the sports studio.
In tomorrow's program, we'll highlight what Kirk Ferentz and squad had to say at their weekly press conference before they take the road to face Minnesota.
Tanner and Mary, back to you at the desk.
And only with Daily Iowan TV can you get an inside look at tomorrow's pages of the Daily Iowan. Read about how graduate students at the University of Iowa are preparing contract negotiations for the Board of Regents.
And an overview of what's happening in the state leading up to tomorrow's midterm election.
And that's your latest edition of Daily Iowan TV. Be sure to tune in tomorrow night for our live election show.
That's right, we'll have reporters stationed around the state to bring you the latest.
I'm Tanner Sigworth.
And I'm Mary Caldwell.
Thanks for watching.
And have a great night.